Hello everyone, in today's video we're going to be taking a look at how we can get ground units to shoot at other ground units. Now this is one of those things that came as a question, and I sat there going, oh yeah, I do remember this being an issue at one point, and I'm like, what did I do to solve this one? And then of course I played a little bit, and I'm like, oh yeah. But to illustrate the problem, we've created ourselves a relatively stereotypical battle. For those of you who are not up on the history here, I think that should be enough. And of course, we're just going to let things run and see what happens here. So I unpause and just kind of fast forward time. Here comes my infantry, my artillery's in position, and they're running in, and they're running in. And they're just kind of standing there. And this is one of the problems that people face. So, of course, people say, well, that wasn't very helpful at all. I want them to be attacking. How come the other guys aren't attacking each other? How come things have been queued up for attacking? Now, the interesting thing here is if I actually sit around for a few minutes, you'll probably notice I sent some MiG-15s kind of down this way to sort of help us out. Now, what's going to be fascinating, though, is all my infantry are going to get themselves in position. And look at this. My MiG-15s show up, and they do a great job of denting the place up, dropping bombs, getting themselves shot down, pretty much the typical MiG-15 thing. So you're wondering why they don't actually attack. It's because all ground units inside of command, including things like coastal batteries, have to be given the order to either directly attack something through a mission, or they have to be given an order to attack things just basically willy-nilly. Let me show you what I mean by that. So if I open up my doctrine in ROE here, you're going to notice here this thing that says, of course, engage opportunity targets. When this is set to no, our ground infantry will never, ever, ever attack. Now you're sitting here going, well, that doesn't make sense. If you go to WRA, I can come here into my basically AKM and scroll down, and it says that the WRA allows it. That's fine, but it's actually built in such a way they're not supposed to give themselves away. So you have to actually enable this in order for them to actually start shooting. Now where it gets interesting is this. So let's go ahead and create a mission real quickly. One time I pressed the wrong button for that. I must always hit the right one when I do that. Control F11. We're going to do ground attack. That's not how you spell any of that, but that's okay. Let's go ahead and do a patrol. We'll go ahead and say ground patrol here. Press okie doke. We're going to go ahead and grab all of this lovely stuff that we have ready to go here. And we're just going to well, actually what I don't want to do is I don't want to get the ones that are multi-mission here. I just want all my guys who are up here in the hills. There we go. So we're going to order them all to just kind of do their thing. And now this is where things are going to get interesting. Go ahead and unpause here. They're, of course, going to start moving into position. And now they're starting to shoot. Matter of fact, not only are they starting to shoot, they're doing a bang-up job here. And it seems to me a little bit like the other team is really not putting enough effort into their engagement. You also observe that they're taking an effort to actually identify the targets they want to shoot at. If I make this one H, for example, they'll shoot at it. If I make that one H, they'll start shooting at it. And you can see they're just having a, kind of a funnel time here, kind of just going to town on the ground troops. Now, you also probably observed that our friends on the ground, who we just sort of steamrolled here, did nothing to defend themselves. So let's go ahead and reset our scenario one more time here. And this time we're going to tweak it just a tiny bit to enable them to be able to shoot back. So I'm going to go up to France real quick. I'm going to go ahead and do this by side. I'm not going to do this by group. Control-Shift-F9. I'm just going to come up here to go ahead and engage opportunity targets. Now I'm going to go ahead and switch over to the Viet Minh here. Control-Shift-F11. Oh, I did it again. Control-Shift-F9. We're going to go ahead and order them to engage opportunity targets. Ready for some fireworks? Here you go. The best part, though, is when the MiG-15 show up. And there we have the Battle of Dien Bien Phu. And you can see it was not terribly successful here, and that's actually kind of funny. You'll notice on France's side, we definitely lost some stuff here. And of course, when you go to the Viet Minh here, you'll notice how we lost everything. And you also get an idea of just the staggering amount of expenditures that are required. Now, the reason this is so cool is if you were trying to create like a fold-to-gap scenario, which exists, by the way, it's very fun to play if you haven't had a chance, you can actually now set up a bunch of hidden units that you have to drive a convoy through and protect, and you'd have a really, really cool mission, even though you might not have all the dynamics of a typical mission. Now, there's one other thing I have to warn everybody about real quick here, and that's the fact that under editors, if you go down to scenario features and settings, I'm going to press OK here, one of the options here is what they call effects of terrain type. One of the things you got to watch out for is a lot of times units won't engage each other because they have no line of sight, because there's stuff in the way, whether it be a mountain or a tree. You always have to be mindful, and if I actually hold my mouse here, you can see it's a woody savanna with a height of 16 feet and a skyline of 1643. Coming up here, we become, a natural vegetative mosaic or cropland, and you can see just how much different of a line of sight we're going to have looking down into this valley. That's a really, really important concept because you can't see through things you can't see through, if that makes sense. It's the classic cover versus concealment. Enjoy.